In this video, we're going to look at a plugin called Voice Recognition with Actions for Bubble. This plugin allows you to add voice recognition to your application, meaning users can interact with your app using spoken words or commands. You can capture full sentences, individual words, and trigger actions based on what the user says. The plugin also supports multiple languages, making it flexible for different use cases. One important thing to note is that the browser being used must support speech recognition. For example, this feature is not supported in browsers like Brave. Installing the plugin first, open the Bubble application where you want to use the plugin. Go to the plugin section and click Add Plugins. Search for voice recognition with actions, then proceed to purchase and install the plugin. Once installed, you'll see that the plugin comes with elements, events, and actions. Now let's move to the Design tab. Before adding the plugin element, I've set up a few custom states on the page to manage the logic. For example, color on/off with a yes/no type, flow with a number type, open speech with a text type, paused with a yes/no type, spoken asset referencing the spoken asset's data type started with a yes/no type. These setups are optional, but they help structure the logic and make it easier to manage the voice input. Now let's add the plugin element. Go to the Assets panel and search for Controlled by Voice, then drag the element onto the page. Once added, you'll notice it requires a field to modify. Here we can link it to the spoken assets data type we created, so the recognized speech can be stored as text. If you do not have the data type, you can create one and make sure the field type is file type is text. Enable auto binding so the data updates automatically when speech is detected. Next, we define a trigger word. This is the word or phrase that activates a specific action in your app. In my setup, I'm using the page's custom state called open speech as the trigger reference. For example, when the user says a specific word like close, it can trigger an action such as hiding a pop-up. On my page, I also added a pop-up that appears when the page loads. This pop-up is used to check whether the user's browser supports voice recognition. When the page loads, we show the pop-up and run a simple check using custom states. If the browser is supported, we display a message like now say close via a condition like I have here. If it's not supported, we show a message informing the user that their browser is not compatible via a condition as well. I also added a microphone icon to control listening. When the mic is clicked, we can pause the voice recognition using the plugin action, pause mic/listening. When clicked again, we can resume using resume mic/listening. This is controlled using the pause custom state with have on the page. If the state is no, we pause listening. If the state is yes, we resume listening. This allows users to toggle voice recognition on and off. Now let's look at how actions are triggered using voice. For example, I set a trigger word, close. When the user says close, the plugin detects it and triggers a workflow. In this workflow, we check if the recognized speech contains the word close. If it does, we hide the pop-up. This is done using the plugin's event, which listens for recognized speech and returns the result. Let's preview how this works. When the page loads, the pop-up appears and asks for microphone permission. Once permission is granted and the browser is supported, the user is prompted to say the trigger word. When I say close and the pop-up immediately disappears, this confirms that the voice recognition is working correctly. You can also use voice to control other parts of your app. For example, I created a command that changes the page color. When I say a specific phrase, the app updates based on a condition tied to a custom state. This shows how you can use voice input to create dynamic, interactive experiences. And that's how you can use the voice recognition with Actions plugin to add voice control to your Bubble application. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out via the chatbot on the ZeroQode website or by email at support@zeroqode.com. If you'd like to see how I set up this plugin, head over to the ZeroQode website, navigate to the Developers tab, select Plugins, and search for the plugin there. See you on the next one.